Okay, so guys, this is my old laptop that I got in 2014, and it was dead. It was put away as dead, and I figured I'd give it some time and try to revive it. So basically, either the RAID controller or one of the SSD drives were dead. So I figured that I tried to do something by the suggestion of a friend of mine, and he said maybe you should just remove the SSDs because they cause the trouble, and if the controller is on the motherboard, then it's a dead horse. So you should take it out, get rid of it, and just try to install the entire operating system on the SATA drive, the small regular spinning hard drive. So then I went to the BIOS setup and went to RAID controller in the advanced settings menu, as you can see, and found it over there. So I decided to go to IDE. I researched it a little bit. So basically HCI is for SSD drives, and the IDE is for regular simple hard drives, and that's what I selected. To be honest, I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, but I figured that, okay, let's give it a shot and go through a couple of other menu items and see what's going to happen. And if it works, it works. At this point, I got nothing to lose because the machine was pretty much dead, and it's been dead for years. Okay, so after setting it to the IDE, it showed up. The regular hard drive showed up as the main hard drive, and it's a regular disk. So it has started to give me some promising signs. Okay, first I tried to do a system reinstallment and it didn't work at all. So I had to use another method to reinstall the hard drive instead. And because the original programming is for the SSD, and it didn't work. But after that, I tried with a hard drive configuration. It started working, and installing Windows 8.1, because that was the original operating system on that old machine that I got in 2014 from B&H, actually, where I got that. So, and these disks were not part of the reinstallment. I had to, because the reinstallment was from the SSD drive. So I told the MSI that the SSD is dead, and they offered me to buy it separately, the 4 factory installments, and because I only had this disk with the machine, with the computer, and I needed the original factory installment discs, and that's what they gave me. Plus they gave me these instructions. By the way, most of it didn't work at all, but they gave me some useful advices and ideas, basically how to proceed with the reinstallation, which was a freaking nightmare from the get-go. And I wasn't even sure if it was gonna work or not, what kind of an error, what kind of an issue do we have. So I was like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. And here we go. Finally, I got the first true promise of a revival, and went through, and here we go. Windows 8.1 installed finally on the machine, and it seems to be working fine, except that, you know, took me like 137 or something number of updates. But this is Windows 8.1, and I really truly hated the Windows 8 and 8.1 both. This entire operating system was an absurd pile of trash. So I'm like, okay, well, at least it's working. The lighting effects as well, the keyboard lighting and setup program started working. So, and also the other components. So yeah, I was quite happy that it so far was so good. Then I found an update program. Now, first I went to Microsoft's website, and the Windows 10 update checker and software showed me that my system was not compatible. And I was like, how come it's not compatible? So I was searching on the web for another older installation option, and I found this software on some tech website, and I tried it, and it started, installing Windows 10. I was like, I don't know if it's a hacked program or what it is. I have no idea at this point. But I was like quite happy that it started doing something promising, and I was like, whatever it is, I'm taking it, bro. I don't even get this point. So let's see what happens. And yeah. Oh, by the way, the keyboard lighting, everything was gone, so stopped working immediately. Nothing. It restarted like a million times, but I was like, I don't care. It's doing something. It's doing something. So let's see. I mean, whatever. And here we go. I'm like, I have no idea how it worked, but basically it accepted my original Windows 8.1 official key for the update, and here we go, Windows 10, the latest update and upgrade. And I'm like, whatever it is, it's fine by me. So here's the screensaver that I'm just messing around with the settings and power settings, and when the display should turn off, the usual basic setup when you got a brand new laptop and want to figure it out. So this is a very entertaining visual screensaver that I set up for the machine. Meanwhile, I went through all the basic settings and changed a whole lot of stuff because that's just the way it is when you got a new PC. And this is basically having a new PC at this point, even though it's a very, very old machine. And now I'm doing a start test, but again, guys, this is from a regular hard drive, not SSD. And I'm like, okay, let's see how long would it take from regular hard drive to load the operating system. And yeah, I was expecting, well, on an SSD I got about 30 seconds, so I'm like, probably it's gonna take 5 minutes. To my greatest surprise, actually it started loading pretty cool, pretty fast. Oh, and I managed to download a new, completely new software for the keyboard to bring back the light features, because they were gone, totally gone, stopped working. And as you can see, the basic desktop comes back in about 35-40 seconds. Now there's a whole bunch of other stuff loading in the background, like the keyboard app and Wi-Fi and SoundForge or whatever it is, and all sorts of Bluetooth and blah 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 blah, a whole pile of stuff that it still takes time to load. So best if you just at this point I'm just leaving it alone, let it work. Yep, there was some pop-up again, so something is still coming up. And yeah, it takes about, I would say, a good 3 minutes, 2.5-3 minutes before everything is finally loaded and the machine is really ready to be used, basically. But I was hysterical at this point. Like, it's alive. And yeah, so this is the keyboard configuration. For testing, I downloaded the Steam, and oh, this is the SSD. So good old SSD. That was super fast before. Now it's significantly noticeably slower, obviously, on the regular SATA drive, spinning hard drive. But I mean, it's working, so it's good. And I downloaded the Steam and Modern Warfare 3 just to test it out. And to my greatest surprise, everything worked fantastic. It wasn't very, very slow at all. And the video card gave me 140 frames per second on HD. Now, this lighting again took me a lot of work to make it work, because it totally stopped working. But luckily, the new software even remembered this good old machine. Oh, it has a CD-DVD drive, so yep, it's that old. But again, and it's a huge machine. This is a big bastard of a machine. And side buttons, one is configurable, the others are just quick options. But yeah, so again, I was very, very happy and here it is. Oh, by the way, I had a problem with my keyboard because for whatever reason, the R and Q keys stopped working for me. The R and Q keys on this keyboard. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? If I want to sell it, what am I supposed to do? Luckily, this new configuration, this new keyboard software gives me the ability to assign another key to those letters. So I assigned the number 1 and number 4, and since I have a full number keys on the right side, it works. Now I got the R and Q back. I'm like, fantastic. I'm very happy. Happy. Okay, so yeah, I'm not even sure. I'm explaining actually to a friend of mine because he asked me about it, and told him that I'm gonna follow his idea. He told me that maybe you should just remove the entire SSD block and go from there. You got nothing to lose. In worst scenario, you throw it out. But again, so it worked very, very nicely, and the machine is back. I only had one time that of the blue screen of that, whatever you call it, and check it out. Windows 10 22H2 latest package is installed. Now I have to be honest with you guys, by the time I got here it was like, I'm not even sure, 14 hours of work. I'm not even kidding. The computer restarted itself during the various installations and updates and upgrades and everything at least 100 times. I would estimate 120, 150 times. I'm not even kidding. 14, 16 hours of work before this piece of junk came back. But again, look at that. It's a 4-core, 2.8 to 4 gigahertz CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, the NVIDIA GTX 980M video card with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So the video card is an 8 gigabyte video card, and okay, it doesn't have ray tracing or any of the new features like the new video cards. But again, we're talking about a machine I purchased in 2014 December for my as a Christmas gift to myself when I spoiled myself. And look at that, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980M, and at the bottom it shows 8 gigabytes of RAM, plus the system assigns another 16, so 24 gigabytes is available for the video, which is absolutely amazing. And the video card driver is very, very fast. Like I said, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the old version obviously, was running like 140 frames per second, and this is a 4-core, 8 individual CPU machine. So yeah, I was very, very surprised that it said that it's not compatible with Windows 11. So I even sent a feedback to Microsoft about it, because I was very surprised it said it's not compatible with Windows 11 because that requires more than a 2-core CPU, and this is a 4-core CPU. So yeah, but also installed this, so I sent them a message about that. I installed this free Office package for the new owner, because I intend to sell this machine now, this laptop. And yeah, this is like OpenOffice, except OpenOffice was discontinued, and this is the new version that I found, and it's completely free. No need to buy and pay Microsoft $100 for their Office package. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I installed Google and set a couple of favorites over there. Check it out. Wi-Fi works fantastic. It's nice, fluid, fast. So yeah. And so this little machine that was in coma for so many years, because after it just stopped working, I tried to reinstall it so many times, and it just kept breaking down and stopped working each and every time. Like, what the heck is wrong with it? And so I put it aside. That's why I got the previous machine of mine. I sold it also, that one, that worked for many, many years. But this was the previous generation machine for me, and I didn't want to throw it out. I was like, maybe one day I'm gonna be able to fix it, and as it turned out, everything works. The built-in webcam is also HD. and I like the configuration, I like the hardware. It's not that super fast, obviously, like the modern SSD drives. But again, guys, this still it at that time, by the way, I purchased it from B&H, the superstore here in New York City at 34th Street, 9th Avenue. If anybody knows, that's one of the most amazing stores in the world. And at that time, it cost me $3,300. So it was a state-of-the-art kick-ass machine at the time. And so I was like, I don't know what the solution is. I don't have time for this. So many things happening in my life, so many bad things happening in my life ever since, those bad years started coming up. And I was like, okay, well, maybe someday. So this friend of mine gives me this idea that, come on, you're looking at the wrong way, because I told him I have no intention of spending money on it. Okay, one way or another, this is an old machine. I'm not gonna spend hundreds of dollars on it. If I can fix it in some cheap way, maybe I will consider it, but I don't know. I called the company and they said that the motherboard is too old, they're not gonna fix it, because I wanted to send it in, and they said no way, we don't have parts for it anymore. And I asked them that probably the SSD. Say yeah, that most likely one of the SSD is dead, and since it is configured in RAID, that's all it takes for one SSD to kill the entire system. Or if not the SSD, because they said if you buy 4 SSD and replace them, still have the same problem, then the controller, the RAID controller, is the problem, which is on the motherboard, and we cannot not replace that. It's an old machine, we don't have parts for that, so forget about it. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. So that's what I was left with. And now that I configured the regular SATA 2.5 spinning drive, it's back. It's alive. It's alive like Frankenstein or some shit. So, but guys, it gave me such a headache. But eventually it worked. And look, the system cut it up for me. C drive, a D drive, and there's the a blue disk, the CD DVD, right? And even my phone, I connected my phone because I was transferring files back and forth. And I'm not gonna mess around with any other solution. It's very, very good with the new FTP that I found. I even made a video about that and published it on my channel. If you want to check it out, check it out. So yeah, and it's still a pretty decent machine, and I'm very happy. Thanks for watching, and that's it. Bye.
GTX.com